The District of Columbia's Department of Health has launched a new anti-synthetic marijuana campaign. There are ads in train stations, bus stations, things like this that are supposed to scare people away from these synthetic drugs. So let's put up a couple of images of those. So you get an idea of what we're working with here. The drugs in question, by the way, the synthetic forms of marijuana known as K2, spice, and other things like that, apparently aren't just going to get you high. They're not just going to lead to some forgetfulness, maybe some munchies. They'll actually turn you into zombies. I love zombies. I love The Walking Dead. Can't wait for the new season to come back in 3 or 4 months, however long it is. But this is ridiculous. And they're spending this money, presumably, to convince the youths, the people that might consider taking these synthetic drugs, to wait until there's more science on them and to scare you off from them. But look, we had reefer madness back in the 1930s. Now, apparently, they're trying to tap into the whole zombie love in this country. I don't think that these drugs are going to turn you into a flesh-eating member of the undead. And honestly, I think that, look, people love Walking Dead, but zombies, still not as big as vampires. They should really say something about this turning you into a familiar or something like that. Tap into the whole Twilight and True Blood and the whole Blade mythos. But yeah, I'm joking about this because the imagery is obviously ridiculous, but there is something serious going on here. This is another incarnation of the government's inability to rationally look at the effects of individual drugs on people. So we had, I believe, was it the ATF? The head of one of the drug-related government bureaucratic organizations was testifying last year about drugs, and she was asked the question at the time, which is more dangerous, marijuana, cocaine, heroin? Like, can you actually grade those in some way in terms of their effect on the human body? And she was unwilling to do it. Now, I think that if she were to search within herself, she would have known that marijuana possibly not as harmful as some of those other drugs. But we have to maintain this facade of marijuana is just as bad as anything else because it's a Schedule I drug. They want to maintain the war on drugs because it's obviously extremely profitable and beneficial to certain private corporations, and there are certain political parties that love to get off on supporting that. I mean, honestly, I'm talking about the Democrats just as much as the Republicans, because look at what Barack Obama has been doing in terms of cracking down on legal marijuana in different states around the country. This is, I guess, less harmful in the long run than some of those dispensary raids and things like that, but it's just as ridiculous. And I think that it actually might backfire. Any normal, rational adult who rides on a bus or on a train and sees these ads, they know that marijuana does not turn you into some sort of undead monster. They know that it has some long-term effects, possibly. The science is still coming in. Sometimes it's shown to have no effects. Sometimes it's shown to be a little bit detrimental in long-term memory and things like that. But they know that this is an exaggeration. I don't think that the American public is going to stand for it for much longer. We should do the studies. So that's one message that they have here. These synthetic drugs might be more harmful than regular marijuana. That very well might be true, and I totally think that we should have that debate. We should have the scientists look into it. But we should legalize the regular drugs. Let's stop pretending that these are the worst things in the world, and only then can we look at them, both natural and synthetic versions, rationally, and really advise the youth of America into what is safe and what's not safe to consume.